The man moved the furniture and removed the ropes from the stools and then used the ropes to tie the furniture together and then carefully climbed up and shook the highest cupboard to make sure it wouldn't fall down when he stepped on it, although it was not very solid. But as long as you do not move it should not be a big problem. But climbed up and realized that even if he fully extended his arms to the skylight is still a long way to go. It seems that more furniture is needed. But he'd been hungry for a long time, and with all the furniture he'd been moving, he'd been hungry for a long time, and he'd seen the cleaning lady eating on the monitor, and his mouth had been watering, and he'd almost spilled out of it. He couldn't wait to open the cans to get some energy, but he didn't realize that he was looking for everything in the kitchen but a bottle opener, as if everything was on purpose, and he was furious. Then he cut his hand while opening the can with a knife. But when you're unlucky, you can't even drink water. But a cracker with peanut butter on it was not only unpalatable but also unsatisfying. So he tried to pry open the door of the storehouse with a pendulum to see if there was anything inside that would satisfy his hunger. This was easy for him, who was well versed in burglary, and with a little force, the door opened, and the contents of the stash were even more surprising. Not only 2 sacks of flour, but also 2 cans of dog food, and even a large piece of raw beef. Before he could be happy, he was suddenly struck by a noise outside, and he rushed out to see that the sprinkler was spraying water on the greenery. He couldn't wait to get down on the ground and hungrily gulped down the hard-won fresh water, even though it smelled bad, but that didn't stop him from being enthralled, preferring to lie in the dirt and get sprinkled all over his body, until the spraying stopped. He smiled with satisfaction and realized that there was no way out. With plenty of water and food he worked harder, pulling down the curtains and gathering more rope to securely tie the furniture into a high platform that didn't fall apart even when he shook it hard. But to his surprise, when he stood up and knocked on the skylight, he realized that it was also bulletproof, and the surrounding area was even sealed with cement bars. He was at a loss, but soon he came up with a solution. He lifted an expensive vase and smashed it on the ground. The vase was instantly shattered into pieces. Then he picked out 2 pieces of different sizes and wrapped a strip of cloth around the edge of the pieces and then fixed them with adhesive tape. And soon a pair of simple sunglasses had been created. Then he carefully climbed up to the high platform and chiseled the concrete press with the table. Chips were falling on the man's face, and the sunglasses played a key role, not only in blocking the harsh sunlight, but also in preventing the chips from falling into his eyes, which greatly increased his efficiency. Soon he made a gap, not realizing that there was a bolt inside. He couldn't believe it, so he accelerated his chiseling and the debris fell on him like snowflakes. After removing all the cement he froze, there was not only a layer of steel bars but also 12 bolts fastened to it, sealing off any possibility of escape. Without the proper tools, there was no way he could remove the bolts and escape, a fact he couldn't accept for a moment but stared out the window.